Hello guys, this is your friend Shinobi Addict 2.0 and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Demon King and future Hokage Naruto build harem with Kushina Ino and Hinata Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. It was 2 days after the Genin exams. The boy known as Naruto, Uzumaki, was able to stop the traitor Mizuki. He also found out that he was the Jinchuriki to the Kyuubi no Yoko. For him everything started to make sense. The mob chases, beatings, excessively charged food, banned from certain stores, the hate of the villagers. It all was beginning to make sense to Naruto. While he did think about it during his fight with Mizuki, he never really actually thought about it in depth until now. All the times he asked the third Hokage why people hated him. The old man always told him that people just didn't understand him. It never made sense to Naruto and he would get fed up with Sarutobi at times because of it. Fortunately he could tell by looking in his eyes that it pained the old man that he couldn't tell him the truth. Once Naruto actually thought of some reasons why he wasn't told. It made sense to keep it under the wraps. Naruto didn't know how he would have reacted if he had heard this while he was younger. He probably would have began assuming the worst. Thankfully Naruto got an idea one day. The blonde used the henge technique to go to the library to read up on some subjects. Before he was in Iruka's class, the academy instructors would purposely make sure he didn't know the material or he would have harder tests and assignments than the other kids in his class. Now many believed Naruto to be a stupid, irresponsible, loudmouth brat. While the loudmouth part was true, everything else was not. Naruto is not stupid, he's a lot smarter than what people give him credit for. Naruto made sure to use his time wisely in the library. He learned how to cook for himself. The history of the shinobi world. He developed a better vocabulary. He even learned about the muscles and other important things about the human body. He mainly focused on catching up with the basics of human life. Naruto didn't have no one to really sit down with him and teach him those things. The old man was mostly busy. Iruka, Ayame and Tsuki helped out when they could. But it just wasn't enough. Naruto didn't learn much about the shinobi arts. But he did find 2 books on sealing and another book about chakra control. As Naruto started reading more and developing his intellect, he was able to figure out that he couldn't control his chakra very well. At least that's what he was able to find out from the book about chakra. The blonde also knew that he wasn't the fox. Thanks to those sealing books and books in the library. He knew the difference from the beast in its container. Although it still blew his mind to find out he was the holder of the strongest of the tailed beast. It also made sense as to why he had terrible chakra control. He had too much chakra to control. So during the last year of the academy, the blonde worked on his chakra control. It still needed work but it was better than before. Naruto also learned the shadow clone jutsu yesterday due to looking in the forbidden scroll. He also knew the secret to it. The user learns whatever the clone does once it dispels. All of the clone's experience is transferred to the user. He would definitely make use of that little fact if it meant it could help him become a stronger ninja. The blonde decided that he wanted to try to meet the fox itself. It wasn't any point of trying to avoid it since they would definitely meet one day. So here he was in his room, sitting on his bed. He closed his eyes and tried to meditate somewhat. Although he didn't really know what he was doing, Naruto was hoping that something would just happen. Luckily for him he felt himself being pulled into something. Once he opened his eyes, he was in a sewer. In front of him was a huge cage. In that cage it looked like a orange-reddish outline of some beast locked inside it. He could hear it growling. Naruto knew exactly who this beast was. So you're the Kyuubi? Naruto asked hesitantly. Kyuubi opened her eyes. The lighting in the sewer got a bit brighter and the blonde was able to see her fully. Yes, I am the Kyuubi no Yoko. The strongest of the tailed beast and queen of Makai. She answered. Wait, queen, you're a girl. Naruto wondered with his head tilted slightly. Yes, I am a woman. Is that a problem? Kyuubi asked in a threatening tone. No, not at all. I only asked because from it was a bit surprising. I didn't even know you had a gender. Naruto said sheepishly. Hey, relax, Kit. I'm just messing with you. I've been waiting to meet you for a while now actually. But before we talk more, let me change into my human form so we can talk eye to eye. Kyuubi said. Human form? Naruto questioned. Yes, we demon have a human form. Just watch. With that she bursted into smoke. Once the smoke cleared, the blonde looked up and was shocked to say the least. Kyuubi was a slim woman. She had nice curves to her body and her was one of the biggest Naruto has ever seen so far. No, Naruto isn't a pervert, but even he has stared at girls from time to time. Kyuubi was also a few inches taller than Naruto. Maybe around 5 feet 4 while Naruto was 5 feet 1. Her face was immaculate. She had crimson hair with crimson-colored slit eyes. Overall she was beautiful. Naruto didn't even think beautiful was enough to describe her. The one thing that really threw Naruto off was that she was completely. Why? He didn't know, but he wasn't going to necessarily complain about it if she didn't have an issue with it. The blonde could feel his face heat up from a blush that crept onto it. Hell, his heart was beating fast too. Kyuubi smirked. Well, Kit, how do I look? She asked as she was posing for him a bit. You look absolutely beautiful. I've never met anyone as pretty as you before. Naruto said honestly while still blushing. On the outside Kyuubi was still smirking at him with confidence. While on the inside she was jumping with joy. Great, he thinks I'm attractive. Now all he needs to do is prove he can satisfy me and Naruto-kun will be my mate. Kyuubi thought to herself. Ah, you're not bad looking yourself, Kit. Kyuubi replied. Thank you. Naruto wasn't used to getting compliments like that. Especially from girls, considering that most girls he went to the academy with saw him nothing more than a loser. It didn't help that Sakura constantly belittled him and hit him every time he tried to talk to her. Even when he didn't ask her on dates and just tried to talk to him, she was still like that. Ino wasn't as bad while she didn't think much of Naruto. She didn't belittle him all the time. Sometimes Ino and Naruto would talk at her family flower shop whenever Naruto comes to buy things for his garden. Hinata was a bit weird to Naruto. She was extremely nice and caring. But she had a confidence issue. Not to mention that she stalks Naruto from time to time. Yes, Naruto knows she does it, but he doesn't say nothing about it because he doesn't want her to freak out. She also fainted a lot, which was another thing Naruto found weird about her. While all three girls were the best looking in his class, none of them hold a candle to some of the most attractive older kunoichi or civilians females that Naruto saw didn't compare to the demon queen in front of him. So Kid, what made you wanna come see me? I know you just found out about me being sealed inside of you not even 24 hours ago. I would have assumed you wouldn't want to see me anytime soon. Kyuubi questioned. Well, before I answer that, I just have a quick question. Is Kyuubi your real name? Naruto asked. Kyuubi raised an eyebrow but just laughed. Hey, didn't think you would ask that so soon. No, Kyuubi is just a title that I was given over the years. My actually name is Kurami. Naruto smiled a bit. That's a cute name. Mind if I call you Kura-chan or Kura? Naruto wondered. Kurami blushed a bit. Sure, I don't mind. Okay, well, Kura-chan, I just wanted to see how you really are. I mean, all I've ever heard was that you were a demon of mass destruction and that you were killed off by the 4th Hokage. Honestly, people judge me as your reincarnation while they don't even know me. It sucks having to deal with it all the time. I hate feeling so lonely. I know I have a few people who are there for me, but it's not like I can spend a lot of time with them. Every time I leave one of them, the pain of being alone always comes back. So I thought about a lot last night. I know you attacked the village all those years ago. But maybe there's something more to you. I mean, there's always two sides to every story. So what I'm trying to say is that I just wanted to get to know you and possibly, if you're okay with it, befriend you. Naruto explained. Kurami was surprised. It took a lot to surprise her, and she's watched over Naruto ever since he was born. She knows how he is, but this is not what she was expecting to hear from him so soon. Sure, she wanted him as a mate, but she thought she was going to have to manipulate him a bit over time to get to that point. It also brought a feeling in her chest that she hasn't felt ever since her last time talking to Kushina. That was happiness. Kurumi smiled. Wow, you certainly are an odd one. I mean, your mother was too, but you definitely take the cake. It's not too many humans who would be willing to hear a demon's side of the story. Well, we have plenty of time to spare, so I guess I can tell you some things. Kurumi voiced. Wait, you knew my mom? You know who my parents are? Naruto asked with shock and hope in his tone. Yes, I do. Now, normally I wouldn't care about things like this, but don't blame that old monkey. All he was trying to do was protect you from the enemies your parents made over the years. Especially your father. I suspect only a few select people actually know who your parents are. But anyways, your mother was Kushina Uzumaki, the legendary red hot-blooded habanero aka Red Death. Also my former container. Your father was none other than Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage and Yellow Flash. Kurumi answered. Naruto just sat there taking it all in. He finally knew who his parents were. Did they love me? He asked. Kurumi smiled. It wasn't a day that went by that they didn't talk about you once your mother found out she was pregnant. They loved you unconditionally from the moment they knew about you. Kushina would often talk to me about you. She was one of the few humans I actually liked. And the first one I trusted 100%. We were very close to one another. Me and your father was on good terms. The man did earn my respect. For a human, he was a very strong man. Naruto let a few tears fall from his eyes. He finally knew he wasn't abandoned and that he was loved. It made a lot of the pain in his heart go away. Kurumi just watched and waited until he was okay. A part of her wanted to go hug him, but she decided against it. If she's patient enough, she might be able to get that and then some. The blonde wiped his tears away and gave a true genuine smile to Kurumi. The redhead blushed again, but blushed even more when the boy gave her a tight hug. Thank you, Kura-chan, you don't know how much it means to hear that. After being told my parents didn't love me and abandoned me for so long, I've been told by the villagers that my parents abandoned me and no one could ever love me. It didn't bother me the last couple years, but when I was younger it used to really get to me. Naruto explained. Kurumi hugged him back. You're welcome, Kit. And don't ever listen to those ignorant humans. They don't know anything. Instead of believing in your father's skills, the bastards thought of you as my reincarnation. You were a child and they tried to kill you numerous of times. I don't know how many times I've had to heal your wounds, but I didn't care. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that the seal is tight and if I forcefully try to break out, you would die. I would too, just not as soon. I'm sure I would have got out of this seal and wiped out this entire village out of existence. Your parents' last wish was to see you as a hero by stopping my rampage. But they disregarded it. It infuriates me just seeing them harm you. Kurumi admitted. It was a part of her that didn't know if she would like Naruto. Even if he was her best friend's kid. Kurumi doesn't trust humans so easily. But that didn't matter anymore. She knew that she wanted to be a part of his life. Naruto moved his head back and looked at her. When he went to hug her, he forgot at the moment of time that she was. The blonde realized it as she was talking, but was surprised that she didn't try to kill him. For some reason it felt right hugging Kurumi. Even though he just met her. She makes him feel at peace. He had a blush on his face still. Sorry for hugging you while you're thank you for your kind words as well as healing me all of those times. But can you answer two things for me? First is why are you, and second is can you explain to me what happened on the day you attacked the village? He asked as he let go of the hug. Kurumi, who was a bit disappointed he pulled away from the hug but was jumping with joy inside due to reading his thoughts, answered with a smile. Sure, why not? Although I have a lot to tell you besides that. It's a bit of a history lesson. That's fine, it's not like I have anywhere to be. The boy said. Okay, well, here's what happened that made me attack. On the day of your birth, a man known as Madara Uchiha appeared in the village. Your birth date was kept a secret from everybody except the old monkey, two of the Sanin, the old monkey's wife, your father's student and the Anbu who were guarding the room. Somehow he found out about it and took you from your parents and threatened that he would kill you if your father didn't step away from your mother. As I said earlier, your mother was my previous container. A female Jinchuriki's seal weakens greatly during childbirth. Your father was also there to keep the seal intact. While I wasn't trying to escape, the seal still needs to be strong enough to contain my chakra. Anyways, your father was able to save you, but your mother was kidnapped. Madara was able to use some sort of jutsu to get her out of the village. He used his Sharingan to put me under a strong genjutsu and extracted me from your mother. Somehow he found a way to be able to use me as a summon without signing my contact. I don't remember much after that, but once your father broke the genjutsu, I saw what was going on and realized what happened. I was already very mad, and the fact that I was put under a genjutsu was very insulting. As well as seeing my best friend's condition. It wasn't exactly easy for me to calm down. Minato and Kushina both tried to stop me. But I just couldn't listen to reason at the time due to my anger. Normally when a tailed beast is extracted from its host, the host dies due to the amount of chakra that was taken along with the strain on the body. Your mother, however, wasn't an Uzumaki for nothing. She survived the extraction and was able to move around. While I was rampaging, I accidentally swiped towards you. Your parents jumped in front of my hand to stop me and protect you. My nail went right through them. That instantly caused me to snap out of my rage and finally think clearly. I started to cry at what I had done. It wasn't so much as the village that bothered me. Like I said, I don't like humans that much, but your parents were special to me. It pained me knowing I killed my best friend and her husband, but they didn't blame me. Kushina told me that she understood what was happening with me and asked me to watch over you and protect you. I agreed to do so. Your father then called upon the Shinigami to seal me inside of you. Using that jutsu comes with the price of the user's life. Kushina was already beyond saving, so Minato sealed the last of his and your mother's chakra into the seal. It was so that even in death they were always with you. Kurumi told him. She still couldn't forgive herself for killing her best friend. Naruto had a few more tears drop but quickly wiped them away. It's nice to know that they will always be with me. Hey, isn't Madara Uchiha supposed to be dead? I mean, in the books I've read, it was said that he died nearly 100 years ago after his battle with the first Hokage. Yes, you're right, he's supposed to be, but Madara was the only person to ever control me, as he put me under a genjutsu before to aid him in battle against the first Hokage. Even if it was said that he was dead, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up surviving that. But even then he still shouldn't have been alive, since only Uzumakis are known for having longevity like that. So it's possible he made sure that someone would continue his work while he was dead. It would have to be another Uchiha. Kurumi growled. Don't worry, Kura-chan, I promise that one day I will kill him for using you like that. Plus, basically he's the reason why my parents are dead, and in a way is the reason why I'm hated by most of the villagers. He's so god-kicking coming from me. Naruto declared. Kurumi smiled and blushed. Thank you, Naruto-kun. It means a lot to hear you say that. Kami, she's so freaking cute. Naruto thought to himself. Kurumi smirked at hearing his thoughts again. Anyways, how about I tell you about Makai and demons? The blonde nodded. Okay. Makai is the world where us demons live. My father was the sage of 6 paths Hagoromo Otsutsuki. He's the man who created ninjutsu basically. His mother was the one who brought chakra into your world by eating the chakra fruit. Her name was Kagaya Otsutsuki. My mother was the former queen of Makai who has long fallen, Jubi. My mother and father had fought one another. My father apparently saw my mother as a threat, and when he defeated her, he made 9 entities out of her. Those 9 were me, and my raised us until he finally passed away. He also had 2 other sons by a human. They were known as Ashura and Indura. That's a story for another time, but just know that you're a reincarnation of his son Ashura. Meaning you're a descendant of the Rakudo. After he died, me and my siblings lived in Maki for a while. It was agreed upon us that I would be the new queen of Makai since I am the strongest out of all of us by a long shot. Over the years we decided to return her to have some fun. We were captured by humans to be used as weapons, and that was the beginning of Jinchurikis. About Makai, demons of all kind reside there. It can be a pain in the for the weak since demons sometimes like to kill. Demon bloodlust is greater than humans' bloodlust. But we can control ours. Some just choose not to. Whatever the humans told you about demons, Naruto-kun, don't believe it. In all honesty, we're just like humans. The only difference is that we are stronger in every single aspect. Most demons just live their everyday lives. There are those who live among the humans in other villages or places in the world. Most humans can't even tell that they live among demons since most demons have a human form. Although in my opinion more fun things happened in Makai than here. But there are some good things that happens in your world. Kurami explained. Naruto was in awe. To think that demons were actually just like humans was something. Now he definitely knew he made the right choice. While part of him knew that she could be lying to try to manipulate him. He could tell by the look in her eyes that she was telling the truth. She really had no reason to lie to him. Whoa, hopefully one day I'll be able to visit Makai. It sounds awesome, Naruto said. Oh, don't worry. I'll be sure to take you there. Now the answer to your first question is that I don't like wearing clothes. I prefer to be. Of course I'll wear clothes when the situation calls for it. But if not, then I'm definitely not wearing clothes. It doesn't bother you, does it, Naruto-kun? She purred as she walked up to him, swaying her hips. The blonde blushed profusely. No, I was just wondering, that's all. I hope you take no offense to this, but I really like your body. He said. Shit, why did I say that? She's going to kill me. Kurami was giggled much to his confusion. Good, I'm glad that you do. There's also another thing you should know about me though, Naruto-kun. I'm a addict. Meaning I like to have a lot. It's been a long time since I last done it, since my past 2 containers have both been females who didn't go that way. I've had with a few demons before, but I usually don't let them live afterwards. Male demons that aren't my mate don't get to have the chance of bragging about having with me. Females who are a part of my army are a different story though. Naruto was no getting turned on by hearing her talk. He was having serious second thoughts about his crush Sakura. He didn't know why, but he was starting to have a crush on Kurami instead. Silently. Wishing that he could be her mate, but knowing that she probably would never let a human be her mate. Now Naruto, I have a question for you. If you had the chance to turn your life around, would you be willing to do anything to do it? She asked. Naruto thought about her question for a second. Well, as long as it doesn't involve harming those that I hold dear, then yes. He answered. Good, now look, Naruto. As I said before, I've been watching you for a long time. As I've watched you grow, I have come to respect your will to never give up. Through everything you've been through, you still stand tall and continue on with your life. Even if it was unfairly thrust upon you. You, Naruto, keep striving to push forward. It also helps that you're really cute too. So here's my proposal to you. Become my mate and I shall grant you the power to do whatever you see fit. I would be making you a Hanyu. A half human, half demon. I've been alive for a long time, Naruto, and I want to have a king by my side to rule over Makai together. You're probably thinking that I could have found one years before I was sealed the first time. I tried, but no demons could satisfy or interest me enough. And you know I'm not fond of humans, so I had given up on it. You, however, brought up that feeling of wanting to be with someone again. You're probably the only male human I would ever offer this option to. That itself should tell you how much I care about you. So what do you say, Naruto-kun? If you become my mate, you will become a powerful king. Not to mention you get to have with me and maybe some of my royal guards. Kurami told him. Naruto was shocked at this offer. This was not what he was expecting to hear when he decided to meet a Kurami. Naruto had always wanted to grow strong to become the Hokage. But now he was being offered to be king of the demon world. And becoming Kurami's mate. Plus the possibility of having with some of her royal guards. But if he had to be honest with himself, he could care less about any of that. He knew it was only one thing important to him out of this offer. Kura-chan, I appreciate your offer, but you don't have to do all of that. Honestly, I would be perfectly content with just being your mate. During this period of time, as I got to know you more, I started to develop some feelings for you. It didn't help that you're more beautiful than any other girl I've seen before. But all I really want is to be with you. I mean, I've always wanted a girlfriend. Although being mates is not like being husband or wife or lovers. Kurami was really shocked now. She offered him power and he turned it down, saying that he only wanted to be with her. Her chest fluttered as she felt beyond happy to hear his words. Naruto was a different case than the rest, and she knew she made the right choice now. I'm glad you feel that way about me, Naruto-kun. But I still want you to become a Hanyu and be the king. If you're going to be my mate, then you need to become immortal. Even though Uzumakis can live until they're around 200 to 300 years old. That isn't much compared to a high-class demon like me. I don't want you to die of old age when you could be with me eating my brains out. Kurami told him the last part seductively. That last part definitely caused Naruto to have a boner. Well, I guess becoming a powerful king won't be so bad. If that's what going to make you happy, Kura-chan, then I'll become a Hanyu. But can you explain the pros and cons about it? Naruto asked with a smile. Kurami was ecstatic. Sure, well, being a Hanyu means that your strength and speed will increase dramatically. You will also have some body changes to you. For an example, your muscles will be a lot more defined. You'll grow in height. And your whiskers may thicken. Your eyesight will surpass a normal human's even with perfect vision. You'll have access to your own demonic chakra, along with your other senses being heightened. I can't say there aren't too many cons. The one that I think you might care about is the increased bloodlust. It won't be to the point where you can't control yourself, but you will definitely notice the difference. Because it's me who will be making you a Hanyu. It's safe to assume that you'll crave a lot more. I already told you about becoming immortal. Oh, and you can regenerate any lost limbs as long as your brain is still functioning. Kurami explained. Naruto stared at her wide-eyed. Damn, I'm forever grateful for meeting you, Kura-chan. Kura smirked. Oh, believe me, I know. Wait, is there any way to let you out of her? I mean, if we're going to be mates, then I want you in the outside world by my side. And how will I become a Hanyu? He asked. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. There's a way for me to get out of the seal. Granted, you'll still be a Jinchuriki even after become a Hanyu. All you have to do is rip off that paper on the cage that says seal on it. I'll be able to leave the seal and come back to it any time. My other way is to sign the fox summoning contract, which I plan on having you doing. So yes, we'll be together in the outside world. As to how I will turn you into a Hanyu, that's another reason why I'm telling you to rip off that paper. It'll give me full access to my chakra and I won't have any more restrictions on doing anything to your body. With that seal, all I can do is give you a portion of my chakra and heal your wounds. Although I will warn you, it will be a painful process. But you'll love the results once you wake up. I assume you're gonna wake up in the real world. She replied. Okay, Kura-chan, since we are now mates, can I have a? Naruto asked while blushing. How about you wait until after your change? After all, you'll be getting more than a simple from me, Naruto-kun. Kura purred seductively. Damn, that's so hot. Okay, well, I'm going to rip the seal off now. Naruto walked up to the cage. How do I reach all the wall up there, by the way? He asked. It's your mind, so just imagine something lifting you up. Kura said. Naruto nodded and did as he was told. A few seconds later, the water under his feet had risen around him. The water was swirling around his waist, lifting him up to the seal. Once Naruto reaches the seal, he looked down toward Kura, who was smiling at him. Then back to the seal. The boy took a deep breath and ripped the seal. The last two things he remembered after that was feeling an immeasurable amount of pain aching through his entire body. and him slowly blacking out. Kurumi then got to work. She was going to enjoy making her husband powerful. Naruto was starting to wake up. He had a small headache. A part of him wondered if what happened last night was a dream. That notion was quickly shut down as he felt himself laying on someone. He could feel their skin and felt one of their on his face. Naruto could also feel a hand gently going through his hair. All in all, he was in a comfortable position. He also felt a lot stronger than he could imagine. He finally opened his eyes to see that his vision was definitely on another level than before. For now though, he quickly put that aside and he would figure the rest out eventually. As of right now, he had his eyes set on the beauty he was laying on. Kurumi was looking at Naruto with a smile. She was happy to see that he was up. Naruto looked at the clock to see that it was only 3:30 in the morning. He looked back at Kura and felt himself becoming hornier by the second. The blonde could see that Kura also could tell, as she was probably feeling his get hard since it is on her body somewhat. Well, someone finally decided to wake up. Kura said, "How long was I out?" He asked. About 6 hours or so. The transformation itself took about an hour, so I could make sure that everything was perfect. Congratulations Naruto-kun, you are now a Hanyu. Kurumi said, but was surprised when she felt Naruto crash his lips against hers. It didn't take her long to respond to it as she pulled him in closer and moaned into the. Naruto never got to experiencing a girl before, so he was honestly winging it right now. It didn't matter though, since he was surprisingly a good-er in Kurumi's opinion. The two fought for dominance as their tongues clashed against one another. Naruto wanted to be the one in control, so he overtook Kurumi in the much to her pleasure. The lasted for a few minutes before both pulled away with some saliva at the edge of their lips. Who the hell taught you how to like that? Kurumi asked. No one, I was just winging it. For some reason while I just couldn't help myself when I was looking at you. I've been wanting to do it ever since I first laid eyes on your human form, to be honest. Naruto replied. Maybe I should have given you a then before we started the process. Kura said. Well, it doesn't matter anyways, but what happened to my clothes? Naruto questioned as he realized that he was along with Kurumi. Surprisingly, he wasn't blushing up a storm or freaking out like he would have before. Well, your clothes were on their last limps. And my chakra was tearing through them. Once I got out of the seal, I took them off of you since they were already tearing up anyway. She answered. Oh, that's fine then. I need to go clothes shopping anyways. I don't get much money from the allowance Gigi gives me monthly. So I'll have to choose wisely. Naruto said. Actually, don't worry about it. I can make money appear in my palm. Kura told him. As she said that, she held out her hand and a stack of money appeared out of nowhere. Naruto was surprised. How did you do that? He wondered. It's an old trick I learned hundreds of years ago. I'll teach it to you later. Your parents were rich and made sure that if something was to happen to them, then nobody would be able to access any of their accounts except for you. I assume that old monkey has made sure that the accounts are still safe. Hell, he better have, or else he'll have to deal with me. Kura voiced with a low growl. Naruto just kept staring at her, marveling her beauty. You know, I just keep falling for you more and more. That's good to know, Naruto-kun. Now how about we have some fun before I start explaining your new body to you? She said with a wry tone. Naruto smirked as he felt himself get more horny. The blonde looked down and saw his was rock hard. It also grew a few inches. Instead of it being around 7 inches, it was now 10 inches. And his was also thicker. He looked at his lover and could see that she was craving him just as much as he was to her. Well, let's not keep you waiting anymore, my dear. Naruto then fixed his position so that he was in the missionary position. Naruto had read up on during one of the times he visited the library. He found a few books about it and learned all that he can about it. So he figured that they would skip the foreplay. He aligned himself with her and looked at her. Are you ready, Kura-chan? He asked. Yes please, Naruto-kun. It's been so long and I don't think I can wait anymore. I'm really craving you right now. Kurumi responded almost pleadingly. Naruto smirked. Your wish is my command. The blonde slid himself into her shaved. He instantly felt as he could come right then and there. Once he got all of himself in, he slowly started to move his hips. He stared at his new beautiful wife. He couldn't believe that this was actually happening. One would think this was a genjutsu. But he knew it wasn't. Here he was, Naruto Uzumaki having with the strongest tailed beast and demon queen Kurumi. Life couldn't get much better than this. He groaned at feeling her insides. She was so warm. Naruto picked up the pace of his hips. Kurumi was in heaven. Sure, she's had before, but none of those times ever felt like how it did now. Naruto was on the verge of giving her the best orgasm she's ever had. If it wasn't for the fact that she's been with him all his life, she wouldn't believe that he was a virgin. The red-head demon queen moaned in pleasure. She wrapped her legs around Naruto's waist as he picked up the pace. Naruto was enjoying every second of Kurumi. He would never forget this feeling. The blonde was all the more happy that Kurumi was an addict. Naruto felt her insides massage his. He groaned out her name a few times. Naruto kept giving her long and hard strokes. Her moans were music to his ears. Kurumi moaned loudly. Naruto-kun, you're so good at this. Oh, keep going, I need more of you. You feel amazing, Kura-chan. The blonde groaned. The two kept in this position for another 10 minutes. Both building up for an intense orgasm. Kurumi pulled Naruto into a passionate. Naruto returned that with just as much passion. The two moaned into each other's mouth while they kept at it. Kurumi raked her claws on Naruto's back, drawing blood. But the pain only seemed to turn the blonde on even more as he increased the power of his thrusts. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark. Yes, just like that. Oh Kami, I'm going to come. Kurumi moaned. Come with me, Kura-chan. I want you to come. Naruto voiced out. About a minute later both came together with much intensity. Wow, that was amazing, Naruto said. He finally stopped coming inside of Kurumi and pulled out of her. Kurumi giggled. It sure was, but I hope you're not done, she said as she got on all fours, shaking hair in the air. Naruto-kun, she spoke seductively. That brought back his boner even though he didn't fully lose it. He slid himself back inside her and started thrusting like crazy. Shit. That feels amazing, keep going. Kura screamed out. Naruto didn't respond and keeping her doggy style. Naruto had an idea. He grabbed a handful on Kurumi's hair and pulled it back as he increased his pace. Kurumi moaned in delight. Naruto pulled her hair a bit harder and used his other hand to smack her hard. Kurumi didn't know how did he know that this would turn her on more. She did not care as Naruto was rocking her world. The sound of skin clapping against each other was heard all throughout the apartment. Naruto made a mental note to have every day from now on. Kurumi also had similar thoughts. After a while the two felt another orgasm building up. Shit, Kura-chan, you're as amazing. Naruto moaned. Kurumi smirked. Oh yeah, you do, don't you, Narukoi? Well, let me help you enjoy it more. Kurumi began to move her hips around with Naruto. Naruto had stopped and let Kurumi throw her back at him. He watched her cheeks jiggle, each them the slammed around him. Naruto just sat back and enjoyed as he did smack hair a couple times. Kurumi was looking back to see the look on Naruto's face. She was happy to see that he was enjoying her actions. Soon the need to release came for both of them. Kura-chan, I'm gonna, Naruto said. Kura moaned. Me too. Both released another intense orgasm. It was the most pleasing feeling for Kurumi to feel Naruto spraying her womb white. Naruto relished the feeling of Kurumi's hugging his whenever she came. For the next hour the two demons had rough and passionate. Neither cared about how loud they were being. Nothing else mattered except for them trying to pleasure their lover. After one last orgasm, the couple decided to take a break. Naruto was laying next to Kura. He had his arm around her. Kura was relishing the comfort of being in his arms as she laid her head on his chest. Their legs were intertwined with one another. Naruto was running his fingers through her long crimson hair, while Kura was tracing circles around his chest. Neither one of them said anything for about 10 minutes. Naruto was the first to break the ice. I have got to the luckiest guy in the Ing world to lose my virginity to a stunning demon queen like you. Naruto told her as he ed her cheek. Not to mention you actually survived afterwards. I have to be the luckiest girl to have such a stud like yourself as my mate. We are definitely doing this every day. Kura said. I think I can live with that. Naruto chuckled. You better. I've never felt that good before and I'll be damned if I don't get to feel that way every day. You should go check out your new looks then come back to bed to continue cuddling with me. She ed his neck. Naruto groaned about not wanting to get up but did so anyway. He walked to the mirror to get a good look at himself. To say he was shocked was an understatement. Naruto's face was a bit more defined now. No more baby fat whatsoever. He was a lot more muscular now. It was like all of his muscles were the perfect size. His whiskers were definitely more defined. Although he felt as if that made him more badass now. The blonde's eyes were still the same color although the color seemed a bit more potent. He also had slits instead of his regular pupils. To even add on more to his badass look. He now had fangs. It was a nice compliment to his whiskers in his opinion. He also had grown taller. He went from 5 feet 1 to 5 feet 6 so he was taller than Kurumi now by an inch or two. Overall he felt as if he could do anything. He smiled as he walked back to the bed and cuddled with his wife again. He gave her a long on the lips. Thank you for the awesome changes baby. Naruto voiced. Kurumi blushed at being called baby. It wasn't a big deal. I just wanted you to look even whiter than you did before. It's no doubt now that girls are going to be coming in the pants once they get a look at you. I take it you feel the power flowing through you now. Yeah, it feels amazing. I never felt anything like this before. What else did you do to my body? Naruto asked. Well, besides turning you into a blonde Adonis. I made sure your vision was just as good as mine. Along with your sense of smell, hearing etc. I also made sure your muscles were nice and firm. I already told you most of what was going to happen before you tore off the seal. Oh, your chakra reserves increased massively. And you already had massive reserves to begin with, that's not including my chakra. You should have an easier time controlling your chakra now since our chakra isn't no longer fighting against one another. You have access to your own demonic chakra along with mine still. Last but not least I gave you a bloodline. Kurumi said. Naruto went wide-eyed at hearing that. Really? What kind of bloodline? It's an elemental bloodline sorta. Basically it's a bloodline that lets you create any sub-element like for an example the first Hokages would release. Since you have a bloodline for creating sub-elements it means two things. First, you now have all 5 elements and all of them are pretty strong. Second, you won't face the problem of not being able to use the element as well as someone who has the sub-elements as an actually bloodline itself. Even though you don't have the bloodline to natural elements since you have a bloodline itself that is meant to create any sub-elements. So whichever of the 5 element releases you wish to combine. You can do it as if you're a natural user of it. All it would take is some practice and you'll be fine. I also took liberty of unlocking your yin and yang release. I'll teach you more about that later though. Kurumi explained. She was once again ed into oblivion. This was definitely something she wanted to get used to. Every time she ed Naruto so far. It made her happy. The lasted longer than the last one. Once it broke, Naruto was smiling at his lover. Damn Kura-chan, you really are the best. Kura blushed and smirked. I know. She rolled over to straddle him. She stroked his a few times before saying, now make me feel good again and we'll talk about your training. She said blissfully as she slid down his. Naruto smirked. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be enjoying life more. The two went at it again. For about another hour. Each of them came 3 times. Kurumi just couldn't get enough of the feeling of Naruto filling her up with his cum. For Naruto, her made him feel like he was on a cloud. Every time she came it would make him feel warm whenever her insides squeeze his. It was finally 8 a.m. After they were done with. They relaxed and talked for a bit more. Eventually both decided they should start getting ready. Kurumi went into the shower first. However, after about 10 minutes, Naruto went to join her and the two washed each other off and had shower. That lasted for about 45 minutes before both decided to get out and dry off. Now the two were in the kitchen. While Kurumi was sitting down at the table, Naruto was making them breakfast. While using a henge to go to the library, he also used it to go to the grocery store or any other store he chose to go to. So he didn't get overcharged for the groceries he bought. Once breakfast was over with, Kurumi decided to talk. Okay Naruto-koi, I don't think you should tell the old monkey what's going on yet. I don't see an issue with that, but why, if I may ask? He asked. Because it would be better to just keep this a secret for now. I want you to get a grasp on your abilities first. Then we can tell the old man. I want to see the look on his face when he sees how strong you are. It'll be funny, she replied while laughing. Naruto chuckled himself. Sounds fine with me, but we should tell him either a day or two before we meet our Jonin senseis. We have about a month and a half or two until then. Everybody already knows our teams. I'm with Sakura and Sasuke unfortunately. I know little of Kakashi other than he's a legendary ninja with a Sharingan in one eye. Along with being a former Anbu captain. Just based on that, it's safe to say he's strong. I just hope Sasuke and Sakura can at least not be annoying. In the short amount of time we've spent together, I've come to realize that I was an idiot for ever having a crush on Sakura. She's nothing but a useless fangirl. I'll admit that I did constantly ask her out for dates. But that was because I wanted to compete with Sasuke over something while also getting any form of attention. She on the other hand genuinely likes Sasuke. He constantly denies her and does it in a rude way like she does with me. I even try to cheer the girl up and she either yells at me or hits me. Like seriously, who treats a person that tries to help you like that? Naruto ranted. That pink banshee, that's who. Kurumi laughed. Well, it won't all be so bad. We could ask the old man to add me into your team as a genin. I may be in my human form and out of the seal, but I can still use my power. No one in the pathetic village could hold a candle to me. He would be a fool to not take advantage of that. So it's either he adds to me the team or he puts us on a different team. Either way, it'll be fun to mess with the emo and banshee, right? Kurumi asked, already knowing the answer. Well, yeah, but they are still going to be annoying. By the way, should we go buy my clothes before or after training? Before. You may be too tired to do so after training. I'll explain to you what I'm going to teach you, but while we are shopping, I want you to make a heng clone to go to the library and go to the gather all of the books about Fuinjutsu. She replied. The two made their way out. Naruto was using a henge while wearing some civilian clothes. Kura was wearing a red kimono that showed some skin. All of the men that they passed by was staring at her in lust. Naruto had pulled her close and had an arm around her to show she was his. After that they went clothes shopping. It really wasn't a limit that he had, since Kurumi could make money appear out of nowhere, which Naruto still didn't understand how. He bought basically a whole new wardrobe. He bought a lot of darker clothes. While he still bought some orange. It was a darker shade of orange. He even found a haori like his father's. Had the same flame design and all. But it didn't have any kanji. Naruto also didn't like the color of it, but Kurumi said she could change the color without an issue. So they bought it. Naruto stocked up on kunai and shrunken with smoke bombs. Along with sealing scrolls. Naruto also found some advanced sealing books there. Once they bought and sealed up everything, they met up with the clone. Then made their way an open area that was outside of the village. It was close to it but out of the sight of Anbu patrolling the area. Kurumi made a privacy and silencing seal around the area so no one would be able to see or hear them or what they're doing. No one can break this seal either by Kurumi since it's linked to her chakra. Alright Naruto-kun, here's what we need to work on. For starters, you need a new taijutsu style. Those bastards at the academy really gave you a shitty fighting style in hopes you would either never become a ninja or get killed in the field. I'm going to teach you the demon fox style. It revolves around both offense and defense. While a fox is sly and cunning as can easily evade, a demon is a powerful, resulting in power offensive techniques. What I want you to do is go over the katas. After an hour of doing so, me and you are going to spar. You need battle experience. You need to experience what it's like to fight for your life. Being a ninja is a dangerous game. But being the king of Makai is even more dangerous. People will try to run over you and kill you if you don't show them your dominance. At times you may have to be cruel in order to get the message across. But once they see that you mean business, they'll follow your rule. During these next few weeks we are also going to go look for bandits. This way you can get your first kill over with. We can't have you freezing up in battle once you defeat a strong opponent. Kurami said to him. Is it weird that the thought of killing doesn't bother me as much as it did before? He asked. No, it's expected since you're a Hanyu now. The demon side of you isn't as caring as your human side. That doesn't mean you'll become a ruthless cold-blooded killer. But it'll definitely be easier to kill than it would be if you were fully human. The first kill will probably still bother you but not as much as it would have before. She replied. Naruto sat there and thought about her words. Well, even though I don't like the thought of it, what must be done just has to be done. But Kura-chan, how am I supposed to memorize those katas in an hour? Easy, you have a photographic memory now. While I was working on your body, I made sure you were more intelligent than before and you had the ability to memorize something completely only after seeing it once. Trust me, you'll pick it faster than you think. While we spar you'll make shadow clones to keep practicing the katas. She answered. I'm tempted to you into oblivion again. You just keep coming with surprise after surprise. Naruto said with a smirk. I wouldn't mind. She returned his smirk. Wait, so can I be Hokage and Demon King at the same time? Naruto wondered. Kurami shrugged. That's up to you. I mean you can, but if I were you I wouldn't waste my time anymore. Wasn't the main reason to become Hokage for acknowledgement? Yeah, but I don't need that acknowledgement anymore. All of my life I thought I was lonely, but you were there with me the entire time. Knowing that kinda made me realize that I don't really need their support as long as I have you by my side, Kurahime. Naruto admitted. Kura blushed. You and your sweet words. Don't worry dear, I'll always be there to support you. Hell, you'll have so much more support once my people find out about you. Especially my servants. I'm glad to know that. But I think I still want to try to be Hokage. While I won't be as pressed about it anymore, I'll still like to be able to lead humans. Ruling over both humans and demons sounds like a perfect fit for us, don't you think? Naruto asked her. True, you have a point there. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to create 50 shadow clones. 40 are going to be doing any chakra control exercises that you know. While the remaining 10 are going to read those books on Fuinjutsu and chakra control. Once I feel like your control is good enough, I'll start teaching you ninjutsu and how to control your demonic powers. We'll also be working on increasing and controlling your newfound speed, along with practicing your accuracy. Oh, and I also want you to make 5 clones to practice your calligraphy. I'm going to be teaching you everything I know about Fuinjutsu to the point where you'll be able to create seal with just your chakra. Another thing, over the next few weeks I'm going to be teaching you are your parents' techniques. Your father left me copies of his just in case something was to happen to the ones he left in the village. I also was able to see that you actually have the special chakra that is required to use your mother's chakra chains. Also, if you want, she left me her sword. It's called the Red Fang. It's a demon sword that I gifted to her when she was younger. I can teach you both her and my sword style. Kurami explained. Naruto was grinning at her. He couldn't wait to get started. Oh yeah, we are going to work on your bloodline too. I'm going to teach you how to master the 5 elements. It should be a lot easier for you than anybody else. I expect we may be able to get you to learn how to create 2 or 3 sub-elements by then. Kura said. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get started, Kurahime. Naruto replied. Kurumi smiled at her lover and nodded. The two began the training. For the whole first week, Naruto learned how to use the Demon Fox style. It took him about an hour or two to get over the awkwardness of his movements. He also worked on his chakra control non-stop. His calligraphy skills were coming along good as well. Kurumi wanted to focus on taijutsu for the most part of the first week. Naruto learned that Kurumi was definitely not one to pull punches. She beat him ruthlessly every time they told him that she was a 1000-year-old demon. Naruto wasn't expected to beat her in a fight. But he did improve drastically. Once Naruto had memorized the kata via shadow clones. He made 100 shadow clones fight against each other in a free-for-all while he sparred against Kurumi. Every day they had multiple times. Whether it was at home or out in their training area. The two were also growing closer to one another. After one session of, Kurumi marked Naruto with her mating mark. She told Naruto to do the same to her. All he had to do was bite her neck and she did the rest. She explained to him that with that mark it should that they belong to each other. It also was going to give them a feeling of protectiveness over each other. Naruto learned the reason why Kura wasn't fond of humans. They were greedy. Plus they took her and her siblings against their will to use their power for themselves. She had seen how humans are over the years. It disgusted her. While she knew there were some good ones out there. To her the bad outweighed the good. Naruto's treatment by the villagers for the past 14 years also added to her dislike for them. Naruto told her he understood her reasoning. It made sense considering how long Kura has been around. The second week came along. They were back in their training area. Okay Naruto, this week I'm going to be teaching you ninjutsu. You've mastered all of the chakra control exercises in just a week, which is pretty shocking. If I had to guess, I would say you have high Jonin level control considering all the clones we had used. I'm going to show you 20 elemental jutsus. 4 of each element. I want you to master them by the time we go report to the old monkey. But I want you to master 2 of each element by the end of this week. Next week we are going to start working on your bloodline. I want you to get a feel of the elements before you start combining them. You'll also be learning some seals I want to teach you now that your handwriting is good enough. We'll also start practicing kenjutsu. Kurumi said. I bet you I can master all 20 in just this week. Naruto told her with a smirk. Hey, knowing you, I would be a fool to take that bet when I know that you will. I want you to make 50 powered-up clones. They'll be sparring against my clones. We are going to work on your taijutsu every day. It'll be a bad look for the new Demon King to be lacking in combat. Kurumi replied. And he did. During that week, the blonde Hanyu was able to learn all 20 ninjutsu. He learned how to create a barrier seal, privacy, silencing and many more seals that week. Naruto wondered how come Fuinjutsu was so easy to him. Kurumi told him about the Uzumaki clan and how they were known for their sword skills, longevity, chakra reserves and high level of sealing. They were feared for their skills at Fuinjutsu. She also told him how both of his parents were masters at Fuinjutsu. No one could compare to their skills in that art. Add in his memory and newfound intellect. Then it explains why. Kenjutsu was fun to learn too. His mother's sword Red Fang was a work of beauty. The blade was black but it had a red outline to it. It was a standard katana. The hilt was both red and black. Kurumi told him he'll be decent enough with it by the time he meets with his team but doubts he'll actually need it. With the Red Fang you can convert both regular and demonic chakra through it. And so this continued on for the next few weeks. Naruto would work Hisanto the ground to get stronger. Kurumi had to admit she admired his resolve and tenacity. He truly did not know the meaning of giving up even when he was dead tired. Over the course he learned the Rasengan and how to control his chakra chains. Kurumi taught him various of seals. She was surprised herself that he was able to learn as many as he did. To even more of her surprise he actually managed to learn the Haraishin. That was something she was not expecting considering how difficult it is in the understand the complexity of the seals. But she didn't call Naruto a prodigy in Fuinjutsu for nothing. His talent was truly unmatched in that field. He learned how to control his demonic energy. While he could use up to around 3 taels of Kurami's chakra, he learned a few attacks his own demonic chakra. One was called Spirit Gun. He would gather his demonic energy into a single point on his index finger. Then he fired it off. Let's just say it can cause some real damage if you put enough energy into it. Naruto also learned to create 3 sub-elements with his bloodline. Those 3 were Ice Release, Wood Release and Storm Release. He was working on Scorch as well, but it wasn't as developed as the other 3. Naruto also learned a few more ninjutsu and a couple genjutsu just to have under his belt. He's come far in taijutsu, to the point where he beat Kura 3 times. Even though 3 times isn't much. Kura told him that most can't even get 1. If he could do it 3 times, then that says a lot. Even though she isn't using her full power, it still says something. Now it was the final day of their training. Tomorrow they would go visit the Hokage. Naruto was surprised that he hadn't called for him or stopped by within the last few weeks. He visited Ayame and Tuki a couple times. They were shocked by his new look. Ayame couldn't stop blushing whenever he was around now. Even though he still got flares of hate around the village. The female population was glaring more out of lust than hate. Sometimes Naruto would tease them by smiling with showing his fangs. Women would faint at the sight. Even Kura had a hard time not pulling him into the nearest area to him on sight. The only one out of his graduation class to see his new look was Ino. To both of their surprise, the 2 blondes have gotten closer throughout the weeks. Naruto visited Ino's shop usually 2 or 3 times a week whenever he was training or in Kurami. Naruto wanted to learn more about flowers and Ino was more than happy to teach him. Both learned a lot about one another. Naruto even told her about how he was a Jinchuriki and a Hanyu. And how he's mates with Kurami. He thought that Ino may not want to be friends with him after he told her. But she shocked him by saying that it didn't matter, and she figured something had to be the reason why the villagers always glared at him. She seen how Naruto was treated by the villagers a few times and it pissed her off. From that point on, the 2 became best friends. Almost a surrogate brother and sister. Even Kurami approved of Ino and befriended her. A part of Ino was very attracted to Naruto and she admitted it to the both of them. Kurami said that if it was ever a time that she was horny, she could come to Naruto in her 4. Naruto was threw off by her offer while Ino seriously considered it. She agreed to it but said that whenever she feels ready she'll come to him. It wasn't a relationship but more of a friends with benefits type of thing. Naruto didn't mind it too much. He knew that he wouldn't love Ino in that way, but he would always consider her precious to him. So if having with her makes her happy, then he'll do so. When Naruto asked Ino what does she see in Sasuke, she told him she didn't know herself and after graduation put some thought into it and considered he might be gay considering he has a group of girls who wants him but chooses to ignore him. That made all 3 of them laugh their asses off. Ino learned about how Naruto was going to be the new king of Makai. She asked if she could take her there one day. It'll be a fun to see a different world. He agreed and Kurami didn't seem any harm in it. Another thing, Naruto found out that Ino was beginning to not like Sakura. While she tried to stop the stupid love rival thing and just be friends, Sakura continued to go on and on about Sasuke this and Sasuke that. It really annoyed Ino and she started to distance herself from the Pinkett because she didn't consider being a ninja serious, plus she was flat out annoying. Today was the day that Naruto was going to sign the contract. Kurami told him the reason that he did this last was because this didn't really require much attention like everything else did. Kurami then made the contact appear. She told Naruto that he was the first ever official fox summoner. She told him to sign his name with his blood and taught him the hand signs for summoning. Naruto did as he was told and signed his name with blood. He then did the hand signs. Kuchio's no jutsu. He called out. A cloud of smoke appeared. It revealed a woman with scarlet hair with brown slitted eyes. She was wearing a purple sleeveless kimono. It revealed some cleavage of her chest. Urza looked to see her queen was with some blonde. She could sense demonic energy from him but also human energy. Urza had to admit that Naruto was very attractive. She walked up and kneeled in front of Kurumi. "It has been a long time, my queen," she said. "Oh wow, damn Naruto, I didn't expect you to summon Urza on your first try. She's a boss summon that requires a huge amount of chakra and control to summon. The only one who takes even more to summon is myself. Guess that goes to say how far you've come. Anyways, stand up, Urza," Kurumi demanded. Urza stood up and looked at her queen. Kurumi smiled and gave Urza a and hugged her. "It has been a long time indeed, my friend." Urza ed and hugged her back. She missed her queen greatly. Everybody back in Makai did. Naruto just sat there and kept quiet. He wasn't expecting Kura to her like that. But he's learned a lot about his mate this past 2 months. She's can be really why and scary. As well as loving and caring. But she definitely was a true addict too. This right here only proved his point. It was actually very hot to watch. Now that I think about it. She did say that she had with females back in Makai before she was captured. The only reason why she didn't with Mito and Ka-chan was because they didn't go that way and Kurumi respected it. He thought to himself. Once the two separated from the hug, Kura asked her, "So what has happened since my departure from Makai?" "Everything is going smoothly. We had a couple fools try to take your position but they were easily dealt with. Me and Mira have been keeping things together like you instructed us to. Everyone misses you dearly." "So what happened, Kurumi-sama?" Urza asked. Kurumi then explained how her and her sibling were all captured by greedy humans to try to control their powers. Hearing that angered Urza, but she kept her calm when Kurumi told her that it didn't matter anymore and that she was going to free her siblings if they wanted to be free. "Now I believe it's time you've met your new king, Urza-chan," Kura said with a smirk. Urza's eyes widen. "King? Wait, you've found a mate, Kurumi-sama? Who is he?" Urza asked frantically. "Yes, I have and I don't regret it for a second. He's the one who summoned you. He's been with us this whole time," Kura voiced. Urza thought about her words for a second before her eyes widen again. She looked over to Naruto who gave her a small smile. "Nice to meet you, Urza-chan," Naruto said sheepishly. It's a pleasure to meet you as well, my lord," Urza replied before looking at Kurumi again. "Isn't he just a regular human? I thought you hated humans." Kurumi shrugged. "I don't like them, but during my time here, I've met a couple good ones who I even called friend. One even became my best friend and surrogate sister. Naruto is that person's son. I'll tell you the full details another time, but basically I was sealed into him on the night of his birth. I've watched him go through things no one should have to. All because I was sealed inside of him. He was hated by most of the people who lives in the village. He was also beaten, kicked out of the orphanage at 5 years old, poisoned by his food served by the caretakers at said orphanage. Overcharged for food while still given the lowest quality of it. Banned from most stores. Spat at and constantly insulted. He's had many assassination attempts on his life. Neglected, and most of his teachers at school went out of their way to make sure he was behind everyone else and did everything they could to get him to fail. Throughout all of that, he was still able to stand tall and continue on with life. Trust me when I say he definitely fits the qualities of being king," Kurumi explained. Urza was shocked beyond belief. To think that a child had to go through so much suffering. He definitely earned her respect by continuing to move on with life. "So is that why I sense demonic chakra inside of him?" she asked. "Well, yeah, since I was sealed inside of him. He has access to my chakra. But he also has his own demonic energy. You see, a few weeks ago he became my mate and I turned him into a Hanyu. Every day since then we've been training so he can protect himself and those he holds dear. He also needs strength to stand at the top of Makai. Believe me, Urza-chan, he's a prodigy even in demon standards. He grown strong at a very fast rate that I didn't think was possible. But he will only continue to grow. I will keep training him until he's at the level required." He's also our first summoner. I want you to help me train him as well. The more help the merrier. You can help me teach him all he needs to know about Makai. While he does know a huge amount about it, he still doesn't know everything. I plan on taking him there eventually so he can learn about it. But be expected to be summoned by him from now on. You and Mira both will be summoned quite frequently. I also told him that if he proved himself that I would let him my royal guards if he wanted me. You definitely want a piece of him. We have every day. Kurumi explained to her. The Scarlet Demoness blushed. Well, it has been a while and he's got to be good if you had with him, and not only he's still alive but he's your mate as well. Plus I really can't ignore your orders, so okay. I'll let Mira and everyone else know about our new king. Good to know. Kura smirked. Well, why don't you summon me later tonight, Naruto-sama? We can get to know each other better. You should summon Mira as well, since I'm sure once I tell her about this, she'll be dying to meet you. Urza said. That's fine with me, Urza-chan. It would be my pleasure to get to know you guys. I've heard a few stories from Kura-chan about you too. Naruto replied. Urza looked at Kurumi. So he gets to call you Kura-chan Kurumi-sama? Urza teased. Kurumi blushed and looked away. Shut up, Urza. He's the only one who I'll allow to call me that. She muttered out. Ah, how cute. Well, I'll see you guys later. Bye, Naruto-sama and Kura-sama. Urza teased Kurumi, who was glaring daggers at her before Urza dispelled into smoke. Damn that Urza. Now she's going to tell Mira and they'll tease me for days. Kura groaned. Naruto chuckled at his lover. Well, it is a cute nickname. So how about we go see the old man? Tomorrow is the day we are supposed to meet Kakashi. Okay, are we gonna walk there or are you just gonna use Hiraishin to get us there? She asked. Once Naruto had mastered the Hiraishin, he marked just about many places in the village so that it would be easier to get around. Of course, he had them marked in secluded areas so no one would notice him appear. Let's just Hiraishin since it'll be quicker. Oh, I know, how about we do it in his office so he'll get the shock of his life? Naruto said with a devious grin. That's another thing I love about Yukoi. Kurumi replied with a smile. Naruto walked up to her and ed her. Then he Hiraishin him right to the Hokage's office. Sarutobi Hiruzen was trying to defeat his fated enemy ever since he took office. That enemy was known as Paperwork. Just earlier today he thought about the boy who is like a grandson to him. He hadn't seen Naruto as about a week. Surprisingly, his Anbu didn't report nothing about him either. He told himself that once he done that he was going to go see him. Little did he know, the old man was about to see him much sooner, as he looked up from his paperwork for a second and saw a yellow flash appear in his office. That flash revealed a boy who looked just like his successor, the fourth Hokage. Although it was some differences here and there, he still looked almost exactly like that man. As he got a closer look at his face, the old man's eyes widened. Naruto, he exclaimed. Naruto laughed and turned over to Kura. See, I knew the look on his face would be priceless. Kurumi was laughing also. Yeah, he definitely delivered. After another minute the couple finally stopped laughing and looked at the surprised old Hokage. Yo Gigi, it's been a while. Sorry, but I need to tell you some SS class information that's only privy to your ears. Naruto told him with a serious tone. Hiruzen and the hidden Anbu was surprised he knew about them. What was even more surprising was that they could have sworn that Minato was talking to them right now. Hiruzen gave them the signal and the Anbu left the room. Once they were gone, Naruto put up a privacy and silencing barrier around the room. The old man was surprised that Naruto could use seals. Alright Naruto, what's going on? What happened to you? You've grown bigger and I can feel power radiating off of you. Hiruzen questioned. Alright old man, I'm going to tell you everything that's been going on the past few weeks with me. With that, Naruto explained everything that occurred. To say Sarutobi was surprised was an understatement of the century. He knew troubling events always seemed to follow Naruto. But this one takes the cake. Now his surrogate grandson was not only a Hanyu. He was the mate of the Kyuubi along with the future king of the demon world. This was a lot to take in. He thought for a second that Naruto was being controlled by the beast. But as Naruto explained how demons are, he threw out that notion. She's had 2 months to destroy the village and everyone in it with ease. Yet here they are still alive while she did nothing but live peacefully among them with Naruto. If he was honest with himself, he was happy that Naruto found somebody to ease his pain. He could tell that the boy was much stronger than before. Now Gigi, I know how my parents are as well. Don't worry, I'm not mad at you. I understand your reasons. I also know about my so-called godparents too. But I'll deal with them later. Anyways, can you let Kurumi become a ninja? You and I both know that she'll be a massive boost in our forces. Not to mention myself as well. Naruto said. Naruto, I'm glad that you know about your family and I'm sorry that I had to hide that information from you. I'm beyond grateful that you aren't upset with me. I and this entire village owe you so much. I will let Kurumi become a ninja. I assume you two want to be on the same team? He asked. Yes, but we'll try out Team 7 for now. I'm sure we'll get into some fights with Sakura and Sasuke, but I could care less about either one of them now. My life is great now. I've found closer and love. Kurumi has changed my life for the better and I can never thank her enough for doing so. I mean, I'm a future King Gigi. Don't think I'm giving up on that hat of yours though. While I don't want it now. But eventually I think I would like to lead this place if the villagers learn how to get over their ignorance. Although we are keeping Kurumi being the fox a secret. Only 3 other people know this information. That is Ayame and Tuki Ojisan and Ino Yamanaka. Also, I won't tolerate their foolishness. I will put them in their place if they try to attack me in any way. If it just doesn't work out, you can just reassign me and Kurumi to a different team. The blonde explained. Alright, I agree with you. But why does Ino Yamanaka know of this information, if I may ask? Because we've grown real close to each other after graduation. Ino is like a sister to me who I will always look out for, and it's vice versa for her. Kurumi isn't fond of humans, but she does really like Ino. She won't hesitate to kill anyone who harms her. By the way, my training. Since we were outside of the village, we traveled around to find a few bandit camps. I took them down to get over my first kill and to gain a bit of experience. Although most of my experience came from fighting Kura-chan. Naruto told him. That's to know that you've found another precious person to you, Naruto. It's no use of me getting upset about you leaving since you weren't in any danger. Now how strong do you believe you are? Hiruzen asked. Naruto shrugged. I can't give you a real estimate since Kurumi was the only one who I fought all the time. But if I had to guess, most Junin would be hard-pressed to defeat me. Kurumi scoffed. Oh please, you can take down all of those weakling with ease and you know it. I doubt even the old man can beat you, Naruto. He's probably the only one in the village who has a chance at it. Hiruzen was shocked at this revelation. If what she say is true, which I have no doubt that it is, then it is a must that these two are not given a reason to no longer stay or wish to help Konoha. We need their strength, he thought to himself as a smirk came across his face. I believe these two can put the civilian council back in their place for me. Naruto, during your explanation, you mentioned that you were given a bloodline from Kurumi-san, am I correct? He asked. Yep, it's a bad bloodline too. Naruto smirked. Care to explain? Let's just say that my bloodline allows me to combine the 5 chakra elements in order to create any sub-elements and use it as if I had a bloodline for that element. Naruto answered. Hiruzen's jaw dropped. What elements can you make so far? Ice release, storm release and wood release. Naruto replied with a smirk. Hiruzen still had his jaw dropped. Akumo Keke Genkai along with the first wood release. Can you show me? He asked. Naruto held out his palm to make a ice spear while he used his other hand to create a wooden chair. That was all Hiruzen needed to see. Well, well, Naruto, do you mind if I share this with the council? Naruto shrugged. I don't care. It's not like any of them can kill me anyways. They'll risk Kura-chan making a sequel to what happened all those years ago. And this time I'm not sure if the Shiki Fujin will be enough to stop her. Even if I won't die, it'll still piss her off. And if you're about to tell me about the CRA, then don't. I'm already married, plus there's nobody in Konoha who can compete with Kurumi in beauty. I highly doubt that they can keep up with my drive, unlike her either. Although if it helps, Ino and me are also friends with benefits. So if she wants to get pregnant by me in the future, then I guess that's fine as long as her and Kurumi are okay with it. Naruto explained, and Kurumi blushed at his words. Well, you are right about no one competing with her looks. But are you sure there isn't any other women here that you may take an interest to? Hiruzen asked. Hinata is a possibility, but she's kinda weird with how she stalks me. She's cute though, but I don't think I would marry her. Besides Gigi, why would I want Konoha women if I have someone better than them right now? Not to mention that Kurumi said I can have with her royal guards, and let me tell you, Gigi, the one that I met is wire than any other girl I've ever met except for Kurumi. But if it'll make your life easier, I'll join the CRA, but I choose whoever I want to marry and I don't have a set limit of time to choose any. The only marriage proposal that I would accept in Ino's. I hope you can agree to these terms, because I seriously doubt I'm going to marry anyone also has to agree with it too. And she already doesn't like humans. Naruto told him. Hiruzen sighed. That's not a problem at all. I'm surprised that you even agreed to it, even if it was for my sake. I don't expect you to actually find somebody anyways. I'm going to hold a council meeting tomorrow and I want you two to be there. You don't have to reveal you being a Hanyu. Nor do you have to go into depth about your skills. As long as I know somewhat, then it's fine. About Kurumi, we'll just say she's from a foreign village but doesn't remember much about it. You two can add on there if necessary. I'll inform Kakashi about Kurumi joining Team 7. Now Naruto, I'm going to give you the key to your parents' estate. No one can get past the gate except you, since it's a blood seal on it. It's in a pretty secluded area as well. I'll show you where's it located. Hiruzen said. Actually, Gigi, it's fine. I know where it is. I've been there before a couple times actually. I never stayed there, but I just visited it for a little bit to get a look at the place. Kura-chan knew where it was and thought I should go see it. Naruto explained. Oh, then that's good then. So you know your father techniques, huh? Hiruzen asked. Naruto grinned. Yeah, I've mastered the Haraishin and Rasengan. Although I haven't tried adding an element to it yet. I'll get to it eventually. I have my mother's sword and know her sword style. I even can use her chakra chains. Yeah, we definitely can't afford you to disassociate with the village. Naruto, will you still aid Konoha even when you're the king of Makai and decide not to be Hokage? The old man questioned. Of course, as long as these idiots don't give me a reason not to. But that's pretty much it, Gigi. I'll be moving into my parents' house. I'm taking the Uzumaki seat in the council. If that's okay with you. Naruto said. That's fine. I'll see you at the meeting, Naruto, Kurumi-san. Hiruzen voiced. Naruto picked up Kurumi bridal style and her eyes shined to his parents' house. Hiruzen just chuckled. That boy is special to master that technique at his age. The couple appeared in the main bedroom of the estate. Kurumi was surprised by his sudden movement and was even more surprised when he smashed his lips onto hers. He fell on the bed, still eyeing her. Kurumi was more than thrilled to him. The two made out for 5 minutes before the breaking the. What was that for? She asked with a blush on her face. Naruto smiled. I don't know, but I'm just happy right now. You're the one thing that makes me the happiest, so I want to hold you. He said as he brought her closer to him. Kurumi smiled and edged his cheek. She relaxed in his arms. I'm glad that you love me so much, Naru-kun. I know, my love. I'm still pissed that I have to enter that stupid CRA. None of the girls here interest me. Naruto said. At least you have your terms to it. Plus you said that you would do so when you see fit. You're immortal now, dear, meaning you can take as much time as you would like. She told him. True, but always know that I will never love anyone as much as I do you, Kura-chan. Naruto told her with honesty in his tone. That did it for Kura. She eyed him with much passion. Naruto returned her clothes off now, Kurumi said in between the. Naruto snapped his fingers and both his and her clothes disappeared. Kurumi rolled onto his stomach and slid on his. She started riding him like crazy. Naruto was thrusting into her as she was moving. Both of them were in the heat. Kurumi adored how Naruto made her feel so loved. She would do anything for this man. The two made Ed in that position while moaning loudly. Soon they came together and Kurumi laid on his chest while his was still inside of her. So the ready to begin your ninja career, Naruto-kun? Kurumi asked. Definitely, I'm sure everyone will be surprised tomorrow. I just hope we don't have to wait long to do missions. He replied. Well, from what I remember from watching inside of Kushina, you have to do a number of D ranks before you get higher ranking mission. Something about building chemistry with the team. Kurumi exclaimed. Naruto groaned. I'm definitely going to ask Gigi to let me do separate missions if we're stuck on D ranks for too long. I still don't get why don't we just have our own team. All we need is a Jonin and we should be fine. Kurama wondered. It's only cause so I can say that I tried to work together with them. Plus it'll be fun to kick Sasuke the few times he tries to test me. I also want to see the look on Kakashi's face when he tries to test our skills and he gets his kicked. Naruto grinned deviously. True, I can't say that won't be entertaining. Kurumi said. The couple continued to have for a while. After they were done, Naruto decided to go train at the underground training area under the house. Apparently his parents built it to have their own personal indoor training ground. It's one outside too. Kurumi decided to watch a movie. A while had passed as she watched a couple movies. She knew Naruto was going to be training for a while. She was granted with a surprise as Urza and Mira both showed up. Urza was still wearing the same things as she was earlier. Mira had long white hair who was about the same height as Urza. She has large blue eyes and a curvy, voluptuous body, with large S. Mira had bangs that reached down to her chest. She had the hair that covers her forehead tied upwards. She was wearing a very revealing short black dress. When Naruto sees Mira, he'll be thanking me for years for letting him sleep with these two. No one besides me looks better than these two out of my entire army. Kurumi thought to herself. Hey Urza-chan and Mira-chan. She greeted. Mira shot forward and hugged Kurumi tight. I'm sorry for the rude intrusion, my queen, but I've missed you so much. Mira said with tears flowing down her eyes. Kurumi hugged her back and let her cry. Mira was always a crybaby. Once Mira stopped crying, Kura gave her a on the lips which Mira returned. I missed you too. Has Urza informed you about everything? She asked. Mira nodded. Yes, I'm well aware of our new king and what he has been through. I can't wait to meet him. Mira said with an excited tone. Don't worry, he's just training at the training area below this estate. Now I'm going to fill you guys on exactly everything. I told Urza that I would explain everything to her later. Kurumi began explaining everything that happened. From the time she left Makai to everything that led up till now. She told them about the few humans she grown to like. And how close she was to Kushina to the point they considered each other sisters. Mira and Urza were stunned at how their queen not only considered a human a sister to her but she even chose one as her mate. Kurumi then told them about Naruto and who he was as a person. His drive and will to never give up no matter the circumstances. His caring and fun-loving side, along with his protectiveness of those he hold. Demon Queen also explained why she offered him between the two. It wasn't like neither girl minded after hearing his story and how good he was in bed according to Kurumi. Yeah, I definitely can't wait to test his out. Mira said. I hope he'll like my body. Urza voiced timidly with a blush. Don't worry Urza-chan. Naruto thinks you're the most beautiful woman second to me. He told the leader of the village that today. No women in this village compares to our beauty to him. Kura assured her with a smirk. This only made Urza blush more. She was happy to know that her king thought so highly of her. Ooh, I wonder what he'll say about me. Mira wondered. Hey, knowing him he probably wouldn't know who to pick between you two. He wouldn't want to hurt your guys' feelings. I know it's not what you would expect from a demon lord, but that's just the type of person Naruto is. It's another reason why I fell in love with him. Kurumi answered. Naruto had walked into the room. He didn't have a shirt on, so his muscles were out for the girls to see. All three girls just stared as the sweat dripped down his rock-hard abs. Naruto notices their stares and smirked. Hello, you three beautiful ladies. It's nice to see you again, Urza-chan. And I assume you're Mira-chan? He asked Mira. Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you, my lord. I've heard great things about you so far. Mira responded. Just call me Naruto or Naruto-sama if you insist on the honorific. I'm not too big on them myself, but Kura-chan says I should get used to them since it's disrespectful for someone to address their king like that. Same goes for you, Urza-chan. He said. Hi, Naruto-sama. Both Mira and Urza voiced at the same time. You know, Kurumi-sama, you should let Rias in on this too. She is very beautiful and I'm sure Naruto-sama would love to have his way with her as well. Mira suggested. Kurumi thought about it. I guess that wouldn't be a bad idea. Bring her the next time you guys come here. She ordered. Yes, Kurumi-sama. The white-haired demon replied. So Naruto-sama, how do you feel about becoming the king of Makai? Urza asked. Well, at first I didn't really know what to think of it. When Kurumi offered it, I declined it since I didn't have any interest of doing so. But she was able to convince me. I want to stand by her side forever. If me having to be a king in Hanyu is the only way to do so, then I'll do it. Now though it's still the same thing, but I want to also protect what Kurumi wants to protect. If she wants to protect Makai, then I'll gladly do so with her. Plus she told me all the benefits to becoming king. I still want to become the leader of this place too. Naruto answered. The group talked for an hour before Mira and Urza decided to leave. It was agreed upon that one of the two will have with Naruto the next time they meet. Once they were gone, Naruto and Kurumi went to go take a shower to get ready for bed. They had shower again and cleaned each other off. Eventually they made their way to the bed and cuddled with each other. Both fell asleep. The next day came up. After their routine morning, Naruto and Kurumi got ready for the day. They ate breakfast and made sure they had everything that they might need. The couple made their way through the village. Both decided to walk there instead of using the Harem, so they wouldn't be there any longer than they had to be. When they arrived to the classroom, they were greeted with the everybody who passed. Everyone looked to see who was standing at the door. They couldn't recognize them, but the girls all thought that Naruto was hot. No one realized who he was until Ino yelled, "Hey Naruto, Kurumi up here." That's when everybody in the room went wide-eyed. That's Naruto, they all thought. Troublesome blondes. Shikamaru yawned. Naruto and Kurumi saw all of the shocked faces. Well, Naruto, you were right about them being shocked. Kura said. Naruto laughed. Come on, let's go sit next to Ino. They walked up the stairs to sit at the top row where Ino was at. Naruto sat in the chair next to Ino. Kurumi sat across his lap with Naruto hugging her waist. Everyone was surprised at that Naruto, the dead last, would have someone as pretty as Kurumi sit on his lap. Hinata was jealous while Sakura was bothered by it for some reason. Hey Ino, how have you been? Naruto asked his best friend. Nothing much, you know, the usual. Running the shop and training whenever I can. I was going to come hang out with you guys once we were all done with our senseis. What have you guys been up to? Ino questioned. Oh, you know us. Training, more and oh, Naruto finally moved into his parents' house yesterday. And yeah, come by later. Kurumi answered. Of course Ino knew who Naruto's parents were. Being best friends has its privileges. She was also shown around the house so she knew exactly where it was at. Great, it's about time you did. That apartment was only big enough for one person anyways. Ino said. The three were talking to one another to pass time. However, they were rudely interrupted when Kiba came up to them. Oi Naruto, how the hell does a loser like you get a chick like her? Kiba asked. That loser part ticked Naruto off. He made a seal-less shadow clone. Only for the clone to punch Kiba straight to the wall. I'm not the same as I was 2 months ago, Kiba. I'm no longer a loser. And if you must know, Kurumi is my mate, so keep your glimpses of her to yourself. Naruto voiced. Mate, thought everyone else. This time Sasuke decided to open his mouth. He looked at Kurumi. You should leave the dobi and come be with an elite like me to help restore my clan. Sasuke said, expecting her to follow him. He was surprised by her answer. I rather die than help restore the Uchiha clan. Kurumi deadpanned. What? Why the Uchiha clan is the greatest clan in all of Konoha? You should be grateful that I chose you to help me. Sasuke questioned her. And I should be flattered. Please get over yourself. The only good Uchiha is a dead Uchiha. I say they all needed to be killed. The only good one is the one who actually murdered the clan. Your brother himself. So please don't ever ask me to help you restore your disgusting clan. I could have sworn you were gay considering all the fangirls you get and you don't go for one of them. Kurumi spoke with a smirk. Ino and Naruto were laughing their asses off, while some people in the class were also laughing at Sasuke. Sasuke was livid. How dare this bitch be so disrespectful to his? The hell did she think she was? No one talks down on his clan like that. Hey, you apologize to Sasuke-kun right now. Sakura screeched. Ino sighed. Oh great, his most loyal fangirls comes to his defense with that annoying voice of hers. Ino said. Sakura marches up in front of the trio. Apologize right now, I said. She yelled at Kurumi. Before Kurumi could even respond, Ino did for her. Sakura, shut the up. Your voice is like nails scratching a chalkboard. It grates my ears and many other people as soon as you let a sound out. Now please take your useless somewhere else and don't demand shit from my friends. Ino shouted at her. Everyone who didn't know how Ino felt about Sakura was shocked by her words. They knew that they were rivals, but Ino never sounded so angry and annoyed at Sakura before. You could hear the venom in her voice. Screw you, Ino pig. You're just mad that Sakura was cut off by Ino. I don't give a flying about Sasuke's gay ass. Seriously, that guy had problems and he always smell liking tomatoes. I'm more focused on my career as a shinobi rather than chasing boys. Besides, it's only one guy for me. And he knows exactly who he is. Sasuke can't even compare to him. Now leave us alone already. Ino told her former rival. Sakura wouldn't admit it, but she was a bit hurt at how Ino was talking to her. Was she really that annoying to Ino now? She looked over to Naruto, who hasn't said a single word to her yet. Oi Naruto baka, you should be trying to defend me instead of laugh at me. Sakura said. I simply don't care anymore, Sakura. I'm over you. Naruto told her calmly. Now this was something to everyone else. Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who had a crush on Sakura for so long, just told her that he's over her. Some like Shikamaru, Choji, Hinata, Shino and Ino, who already knew, were happy for him. Hinata was sad that she couldn't get to Naruto, but she still feel like she should tell him her feelings. Ha, like you could ever get over me. Now stop trying to act cool like Sasuke-kun and do your job of making me feel better. Sakura said. I'm not trying to act cool, I really just don't care about you anymore. We're teammates and that's it. I've asked you on dates multiple times and tried to make you feel better about yourself. Every time Sasuke rejected you, you took out your frustrations on me by hitting and degrading me. And I let you because I wanted some form of acknowledgement. I have all the acknowledgement I need from Kurumi-chan and Ino-chan. Naruto explained. Sakura was stunned. She turned to Ino. I thought you hated Naruto baka. Stop calling him that. And no, I don't, he's my best friend. He's family to me now. Me and Naruto have grown closer to each other during the last 2 months. There isn't anything I wouldn't do to protect him, and he feels the same about me. Ino voiced. Well, it doesn't matter. Naruto, you're my lapdog now, be a good boy and get rid of that girl. Sakura screeched. The whole room just looked at her as if she had a second head. This was how she really thought of Naruto. That comment just really pissed off some people. Especially Kurumi, who was ready to erase her from existence. Ino, who was ready to turn her mind into a vegetable state. And Hinata, who was about to act. The Hyuga princess got up and walked over to Sakura with a look that said death was coming for you. Sakura, don't you ever say that again about my Naruto-kun or I'll kill you, you pink-haired, loud-mouth, gigantic forehead-having bitch. Go back to your precious Sasuke-kun, even when he wants nothing to do with a pathetic bitch like you. Hinata yelled at the Banshee. Not only did she yell, she made a statement by activating his Byakugan and using Jukin to close up most her chakra points. Sakura fell onto the ground in pain. Now this was really the shocker of the day. Hinata Hyuga just yelled at someone and kicked Sakura's with anger. No one has ever seen the Hyuga princess angry before. Even Naruto and Kurumi was surprised. Ino was the first to break the silence. Alright, way to go, Hinata. I thought I was going to have to do something to shut her up. Ino exclaimed. Hinata, who had gotten over her anger, realizing what she just did, blushed profusely. Well, I just got so mad that she would say that's what Naruto-kun is to her. I just couldn't stop myself from blowing up. She admitted. Good, someone needed to put her in her place. Why don't you sit next to me? Ino offered. Hinata was surprised. She never really had many friends. She was always so shy. This is the first step for me breaking out of my shell. The Hyuga heiress thought to herself. Sure, Ino-san, she said with a smile as she went to sit by her. Kurumi smirked as she just got a great idea. She leaned into Naruto's ear. I think you may have found you a royal guard, she whispered. Naruto's eyes widened at her words. Really, Hinata? I mean, I'm just surprised by her outburst like everyone else. But still, really her? He asked. Yes, trust me, she'll be a perfect fit. That little display just proved she's willing to protect you from any harm. We can train her to be strong and you can add her to your harem you're supposed to be forming. You may not want to marry her, but you can at least have with her. I'm pretty sure if we explain everything to her, she'll most likely agree. Plus, think about it. She's bound to have suitors which she probably doesn't want. You would be looking out for her. If you have 2 clan heirs, then nobody in that stupid council can say anything. Kurumi explained. Naruto just sighed. You're right. Alright, even though I don't really like this. It will help in the long run. It'll also help to have her clan as an ally since I'm sure her father knew my parents. Kurumi nodded and looked over towards Hinata, who was sitting by Ino. Hey Hinata, how about you come over to hang out with us with Ino after this is over with? Hinata wondered what was with the sudden offer. But she didn't mind it since it would give her a chance to talk to Naruto. Oh, okay, I don't mind, she replied. Kurumi grinned. Great. Ino, you know what to do. Ino nodded. She figured that Kurumi had something planned for Hinata. Oh, this should be good. Alright, Kurumi-chan. The 4 began to talk to one another. As they were talking, the Jonin came one by one to take their teams. Eventually Hinata and Ino both had to leave with their teams but agreed to meet up with each other and head straight to Naruto's house afterwards. Now it was only Sasuke, Sakura, Kurumi and Naruto left. An hour had passed and Kakashi finally decided to show up. Kakashi looked at his team. He already knew about the situation with Naruto and Kurumi. Although he believed the Hokage when he said Kurumi was the fox. He could feel a lot of power coming from her, and her red-slitted eyes as a giveaway to someone who actually pays attention. He was a little skeptical what he heard about Naruto's strength, but he would get his answer soon. My first impression of you 4. You're all brats. Meet me on the roof, Kakashi said. He left via Shunshin. Naruto just Hiraishin him and Kurumi there while Sasuke and Sakura walked. When Kakashi arrived, he was surprised to see Naruto and Kurumi sitting down waiting for him. Kurumi was still on Naruto's has to admit that Naruto is one lucky bastard to have a girl as good looking and powerful as Kurumi. Sensei would be so proud. He thought to himself. So how did you 2 get here so fast? Kakashi asked. Didn't the old man tell you that I can use the Hiraishin? Naruto wondered. Kakashi's lone eye widened. Wait, you can use it? Kakashi questioned. Yeah, I learned it a month ago. It's real useful, I tell you. Naruto said. Okay, so I'm not as skeptical about him like before. Well, at least I know that I won't have to worry about him being the dead last like his files say. This just makes my job that much easier. The silver-haired man thought. Eventually Sakura and Sasuke made their way to them. Both glared daggers at Naruto and Kurumi, who just laughed it off. The team went through introductions. Sakura asked why was Kurumi in our team if she wasn't mentioned before. Kakashi answered that by saying it was the Hokage's orders. Now Team 7 was on training ground 7. Kakashi was holding 3 bells in his hands. Alright team, this is the bell test. We are going to see if you really have what it takes to be a genin. It's a 66% failure rate and I have never passed a team before. Hopefully you guys will be the first. You have 3 hours to get the bells from me. Kakashi instructed. But Kakashi-sensei, I thought we already passed our test to become genin. Sakura asked. No, you passed the test to see if you had the skills required to become genin. It's up to your jonin instructor to see if you have what it takes to be a genin. Now the timer is set in 5, 4, 3.2.1. Go, Kakashi said. Sakura and Sasuke went to go hide, while Naruto and Kurumi stayed in the clearing. Kakashi pulled out his orange book. So I take it you two aren't going to hide? Kakashi asked. It's no point. We both already know the point to this test. I already have clones going to find those idiots to try to convince them we need to work as a team. I don't know if they'll listen though. Sasuke is arrogant while Sakura is a useless fangirl. Naruto explained. Kakashi groaned. Oh great, another fangirl. Naruto and Kurumi laughed in agreement. Say Kakashi-sensei, me and Kurumi already have good teamwork. She's been training me for the past 2 months now. And I'm sure you know it's no need to really test her. So why don't me and you have a little sparring session until those two decide to work together as a team? Naruto asked. I don't see a problem with that. Honestly, you two seem like the only ones who are going to be worth being around on this team. You'll be making my job a whole lot easier. I just wish that stupid civilian council didn't force me to focus solely on training. So obsessed with revenge, I'm afraid he might go rogue on us one day. Kakashi voiced. Those fools are too obsessed with those Uchihas. And yes, you're right about him possibly defecting from the village. It would be best to keep an eye out on him. Although I hope you don't mind him and the Banshee getting their kicked from time to time. Kurumi said. Kakashi just shrugged. I could care less, considering I know it's going to be times that I wish I could do the same. As long as you don't kill them, then I have no issues with it. He got into his fighting stance. Great, it'll be nice to work with you then, Kakashi. Kurumi spoke with a smile. Kakashi nodded as he watched Naruto. He only blinked once and Naruto had disappeared. Looking for someone, sensei? A voice called out behind him. Kakashi was shocked. He turned his head back to see that Naruto was behind him with a tri-pronged kunai pointed at a vital area. When did you? During introductions I have a clone hanged into a fly. It.